Hello and welcome to WhoNoob and WhoVeteran. I'm the WhoVeteran. I know almost all there is to know about Doctor Who.
And I'm the WhoNoob.
Who's only been watching Doctor Who since Peter Capaldi started. And yeah, here we are for our review of episode 3 of the new Doctor Who spin-off, Class, your first ever Doctor Who spin-off. And yeah, what did you think of it? I mean, the first 2 episodes are great. We both agreed on that.
Yeah.
We both gave them an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
This episode, though, I didn't like so much.
No, I don't feel it as... I mean, I don't think it was bad, but I definitely didn't like it as much as the first 2. Was just lacking in different areas.
Yeah, it just felt kind of boring. I mean, I've got a note here saying no drama 20 minutes in, and I mean it didn't really start grabbing me until 30 minutes in, which for a 45-minute long episode is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the music. Not the opening credits, not the title sequence. I'm used to that, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, I've grown to like it as well. I quite like it now.
But that first
the montage sequence, the pre-title sequence.
Yeah, and it was just a bit cheese.
Yeah, I like what they're going for. They're trying to show us her relationship with her father growing up, rather than tell us, which is good. Show, don't tell. But the choice of music in that montage did just make it a bit cheesy as opposed to emotional, which is what it should have been.
I mean, it did take me a while to realise that I didn't like it, so that's sort of a good...
So, like, at first you thought you liked it?
Well, at first, this is what the problem was with it, was I noticed the music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't notice the music. But I was sitting there going, do I like this? Do I not like this? Instead of actually watching and just taking in the experience.
Yeah.
And then... by the end of it, I was like, nah, too cheesy.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree completely.
Intense suicide attempt by
April's father.
April's father.
Yeah, that's kind of when the episode started grabbing me, was when April opened up to Ram about her past and what was happening.
That was a good little scene.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that's what her issue would be with her dad, that he was responsible for the car accident that paralysed her mother. What I wasn't expecting, though, was that it was deliberate. I was expecting it would have been an accident and he happened to be driving.
Yeah.
Not, oh, he attempted to commit suicide and kill the rest of his family. That's, heavy. Heavy shit.
I feel like it should... I feel like we learned more about her father than...
We did about Tanya's
father. Like, we should have had that, some sort of build-up to that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we had the montage scene, which didn't really work because of the music.
And they did briefly mention Tanya's dead father in episode 2.
I did like how they cut from... I did like the shot at the cemetery, where they...
Yeah, me too.
Like, I thought that was done well, but the music's pulled away from it a bit, I think.
Yeah, they just needed to... Because, it
felt like
the alien pretending to be a father said, like, you're the one who hasn't moved on yet, you're still grieving and stuff, but we haven't really seen much of her grieving over her father yet.
Yeah.
And even when she does first see her father, you don't really see that kind of grief in their conversation until about 25-30 minutes in. Until then, she's like really calmly accepting that her dad's there.
Well, I think it wasn't that she was accepting, but like I think what she tried to do was play the I don't believe this is happening at all, to the extent that I'm going to walk out because I'm not going to accept this. I don't accept this, but it didn't get played off. It wasn't pulled off.
It was like the actress was kind of trying to downplay it rather than kind of you know, I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for, but it just she didn't have.
It didn't work.
She didn't have that emotion that needed to be there.
Yeah, you need to have the emotion first to be able to hide the emotion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Whereas it just looked like she was trying to hide the emotion that she didn't really have.
Yeah, exactly. I like that line. Yeah, I like that line. No one disgraces the memory of my sister by making her nice.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was a good line. I found that this they solved the problem of the villain, which I like. I like the villain. The villain was cool.
I like the concept of the villain,
Yeah.
but I think the villain was underdeveloped though.
Yeah, yeah. I did like the idea of what it was, but I feel like because, as you said, the drama didn't start until 20, 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
The villain was rushed. We didn't get to really explore it. And because of that, the villain sort of turned up, and then they solved the problem too easily. Like,
Yeah,
with the
it was
bus,
just like,
it was like,
they're gonna kill Tanya off, and then all of a sudden the alien starts turning green, and then she's like, I gave you my anger.
Yeah.
Which
It
hadn't.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they hadn't built up to that. It felt like it was a Deus Ex Machina.
I think you said earlier too, not on the video, but to me, there was too much setup.
Yeah.
Too
It
much
was like
setup.
it was like, yeah, they should have just kind of. It was like they were trying to kind of like establish exactly who this alien was, and they were trying to like make it tense by having everyone be cautious of the alien straight away. Whereas we should have kind of just we should have only. I think we should just focus down on Tanya and her father. We shouldn't really have had other ones pop up around other people, because
Or they should have set it up in the previous episodes a little bit more.
Yeah, well, they didn't do anything really with it. They didn't really do anything with Miss Quill's sister or having Rachel turn up with Ram. They didn't really do anything with that. So they should have just focused on Tanya and her father and on that relationship rather than the other stuff. And they should have fleshed out more. They should have shown more that Tanya hadn't gotten over her father's death, and they should have shown more of her brothers and her mother and how they have gotten over it.
Yeah.
And whereas instead we're told and not shown.
It was a hard episode 3. It's a hard episode because they've had 2 episodes. They pulled them off really well. I feel like they've started to set up stuff for later.
Judging by the next time trailer, it looks like April's father might be turning up and they might be doing something with that. Which by the way, next time looks incredible.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Like the Shadowkin are back, and I told you that. I said that the Shadowkin will be back, and I was right. And and it looks like we're focusing on April and having her father there, and it looks really cool. I think that kind of says something about this episode. The thing I most took away from it was the next time trailer for the next episode, rather than this episode itself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of an episode I feel that if it wasn't in there, I don't think it would make much
difference. Yeah. Like, it's like the only real character development that happened was with Charlie and his boyfriend, which I forget the name of his boyfriend right now. But, so they developed that, but that could have been fit into a different episode, because the main plot of this episode of Tanya and her father was only really set up in this episode and then resolved in this episode. So that means that really it doesn't feel like it's had an effect really on the rest of the series.
Yeah, and I understand that her character development was, now I can say goodbye, and she said bye to her dad at the end. But we hadn't set it up early enough that we knew that she had to say bye to her dad in other episodes. So. And
even then I didn't really feel like she had gone that journey by the end. It was just like my anger's stronger than my grief, and then a couple of scenes later she was like, goodbye dad. And I was like, wait, so you have moved on? I thought you hadn't moved on. I thought you were saying your anger will stick with you. And
I think what they tried to do, but didn't execute it well enough, was she gave her anger to. So the anger was no longer there with her. That gave her the chance to move on without having that anger towards him.
But the thing is, though, we didn't know that she had any anger towards him because they hadn't shown it up until that very last moment. We had no idea that she had anger to get rid of.
Yeah.
The only thing that we had seen up until this point of her father was that she was a bit sad, and even then it was only really a bit. It was just like the old tear here and there, nothing too major.
And she seemed to sort of be over it too because she used it to help. What's his name? The guy who lost his leg.
Ram.
She had that conversation with him, and she was like, "Oh, this is
how
I got over it."
Yeah, that's the problem.
So it's kind of like she had got over it, and she hadn't.
It's the problem. They established this thing of her father in the last episode, but yet the way they established it last episode made it seem like she was already over it. Yeah. So then for this episode to be like, "Oh, you're not over it," just didn't ring true.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing which I did like, I just want to quickly mention, is that I like the fact that it wasn't set in Coal Hill School. It was all set out of school. I like that. I'm glad they're not restricting the series to solely be entirely set within the school.
Yeah.
We can have episodes outside of the school. I think that was good.
Yeah. You don't want it to be like, you know, yeah. No, I know what you mean. Those.
What were you about to mean?
I was Saved by the Bell, where everything happened it's before your time.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, everything happened at school, you know, or...
I know Deadpool made a joke about Saved by the Bell in the announcement that the film was going to be rated R.
Oh, did they? Oh, I might have seen that one. Yeah, I think I saw it.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
We're getting off topic.
Yeah, we are. Back to it.
Yeah, so have you got anything else to add? Because that's basically all I've got to say about it.
I like what you've got there. It was kind of a...
Oh, yeah, of course.
A...
My final note. There was no closure to the episode.
Yeah,
that was its problem.
Yeah, the whole episode was about closure, but
yet it didn't have any real closure.
Exactly.
Which is ironic.
Yeah. Definitely.
But as I said, there were quite a few. You know, by the time you hit like the 25-30 minute mark, it starts to become interesting, if a bit rushed.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like it either. For me, it's just going to be a straight down the middle 5 out of 10 for me on this episode.
Yeah, I think I'll give it 5.5.
You're gonna get slightly above average.
Slightly above average,
but not above enough to actually be called good.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I was thinking 6 earlier, but the more I've talked about it, the more I've talked myself into liking it.
Less.
Liking it less, yeah. Yeah, it's made me like it less, so yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's about it.
So we'll see you next time.
Hopefully we brought some closure to our
episode that was lacking closure.
Yeah.
So that was Night Visiting, an episode about closure that we neither liked nor disliked really. And we'll see you next time for our review of Co-Owner of a Lonely Heart, I think is the title for next week's episode, which looks awesome as we've already said.
Really
so
good.
We'll see you then.
See you then.
Class dismissed.
Class dismissed.
These puns, they're driving me insane now.
Yeah, we almost need we need...
Puntastic book of puns.
No, we need a school bell to go to finish it off.
Yeah.
And then... Oh, we get to go.
Yeah, okay. Bye.